Dreams, we learn in the Quran and Sunnah, can occur from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they can occur from shaitan, and they can occur from your own imagination. The second type of dream, it is called in Arabic hulum, and hulum is an evil dream. In English we call it a nightmare. And these types of dreams are from shaitan. And the sign of this dream is that it terrifies you. You see something evil, something disgusting. You see your loved one die a miserable death. You see yourself in a car accident. You see yourself being chased by evil aliens or beasts or something like this. This type of dream is just the shayateen wanting to irritate you. They're playing a joke, a practical joke on you. They're irritating. Why? Because you're a Muslim. Or even if you're not a Muslim, but non-Muslims have nightmares as well. But this is just shayateen playing with you at your expense.
There was one time where I almost had a jinn appear to me. But I was so terrified and so scared that I just started praying. Just immediately started praying. But I could feel the negative energy around me. And it was right after the Paranormal Activity movie came out. The first one, the original one. The one that scared and terrified every single person, including myself. Because before then, I was like a horror fan fanatic. Nothing was scaring me. I didn't believe in anything, so I didn't believe in demonic entities. I didn't know about ghosts. I thought they were just all like, myths. But then when my mother actually let me know that they're real and they exist, I was like, oh shit. So I came home that night and I was just feeling super weird. And you gotta remember, you guys, your energy, your aura, when it's low, when you don't have a certain amount of protection and you don't have a good connection with God, they're able to mess with you a lot easier. They can influence you guys. They can whisper things into your ears and say things that make you think that, oh, this is coming from me, from my head. This is just, Freud, right? But no, it's coming from a demonic entity. So, anyways, I came home that night. I was sitting in the living room and I was all by myself. Everybody else had already went to bed. And I was just scrolling on my phone. When I was scrolling on my phone, all of a sudden I felt like there was something right behind me, just staring at me. And of course I got chills and got freaked out, so I started looking around like, who's there? But nobody was there. Nobody. Then I was laying on the couch, right? So when I was laying on the couch, I was facing the living room so I can see the entire room. After a while, I started getting so creeped out because I could still feel this energy around me and I had no idea what it was, that I turned over and I faced the couch. So I was facing this way, towards the wall, right? That way, I just felt safer for some reason. I got under the covers like as if that was gonna help me. Don't know. And I remember I was hugging myself. I was terrified. I was scared, right? So I was hugging myself, trying to comfort and calm myself down. But as I was doing this, I kid you not, you guys, I freaking kid you not, I felt something touch me. I felt something, I felt a hand, to be exact. And I thought, like, was that me? Was that my hand? Like, I was freaking out, okay? I was freaking the hell out. I really thought like I was just, like my mind was playing tricks on me, like as if see, it's hard for me to even explain. Like, I thought that my hands were the ones that touched me, but the touch came from somewhere else, but I wasn't rubbing myself. I was just, holding myself. So I thought maybe like my hand accidentally touched another area. I don't know. Okay. I was just trying to make sense of it all. But anyways, I was freaking out. So I immediately just start saying Quran. And I just start saying it out loud. And the more I kept repeating it, the more I kept saying it, the more of the eerie feeling washed away. It just went away, right? So I thought I was safe. I got up, I went to my room. Since that night, I was not able to sleep with the light off for several months. I want to say 6 months to be exact, because every single night I felt that weird energy. I literally felt it deep in my soul, and my eyes could be closed, but I can feel the energy, the staring coming from a certain part of the house, right? And this is back when I was a teenager, so I still hadn't looked into, you know, my religion too much. I was still kind of Americanized. Well, I'm still Americanized, but I mean, I was very disconnected from my culture, my religion, and I was disconnected from God. Well, not as connected, not completely disconnected, but you get what I mean. As you form a stronger bond with your creator, he's gonna provide he's gonna provide a cover, like a shield, if you will, right? A force field. And it'll make it harder for these kind of spirits, these jinns, to come into your energy, your sphere, your bubble. They won't be able to mess with you, actually, which I was unaware of. Like, okay, so I was still learning. I remember every single night I couldn't sleep without the light off, right? Until one night, my sister was sleeping in her room, and she's young. We're 17 years apart. So when my mother had her, I was 17 turning 18. So I feel like she's my child. She pretty much is, okay. But pretty much I used to always have to babysit her when my mom was at work. So when it came a certain time in the day, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So that morning, I went to go sleep next to my sister because she gets scared. And when I fell asleep next to her, I kid you guys not, I swear to God, I still remember this like as if it was yesterday. I was dreaming, first of all. And for me, I used to have a lot of lucid dreaming back then. I was able to control my dreams. I was able to jump from one universe to the next and just do all kinds of like weird stuff in my dreams all the time. And I used to remember everything. When I woke up, it was like as if I was literally there. But anyways, that night, I was sleeping, and in my dream, a jinn was trying to enter into my dream. And in my dream, I felt this overpowering voice, like just coming from the sky, if you will, right? This overpowering voice. And the voice was just saying, I don't remember exactly what it was saying, so that's the only part I don't remember, but it was saying like scary things, like things that were terrifying, that, well, made me feel that feeling within my dream. So I started becoming terrified in my dream, and I was so scared that within my dream, I was like, this isn't right. And I started saying Quran in my dream. So I just started reciting Quran, reciting Quran, reciting Quran over and over and over again until I woke up. Now, what happened after I woke up, now that scared me more than my actual dream, because the dream itself, you can just be like, okay, my brain is playing tricks on me, like, okay, yeah, there was a jinn in my dream, yeah, sure, okay. But the freaking scary part about it was the fact that when I woke up, the area of where I was hearing the whispers come from, which was majority from this side, so my right side, right? So it was coming from this side, all of the words, the angles, all of that in my dream. But when I woke up, my right ear was on fire. It was burning. It was literally hot. Okay, so I'm feeling both of my ears like, and this one was on fire. It was legitimately, the temperature was hotter than the left side. So immediately I was like, no, that was not a dream. That was not fake. There was something here in this room and it was trying to mess with me, and I don't know what it was. But right then and there, again, I just started praying and praying and praying. And I swear to God, you guys, I almost lost my mind after that. But so I brought it up to my mother. My mother then proceeds to tell me that I need to learn a certain passage out of the Quran. It's specifically there to burn the jinns. So if they come to mess with you, you say this ayah, which is Ayat al-Kursi. I'm actually wearing it on my necklace currently. So this one right here is the passage, okay? You guys can't see it, but the point is, she said you need to memorize this, and every time you feel anything around you, you need to start reciting it immediately. So I did. And then my mother gave me this little charm to wear around my necklace for protection, right? And ever since then, I've never really encountered, me specifically, personally, any jinns or jinn-like experiences. Except for a few who have been, I'll get into those later, but I have been spiritually attacked before. Like people who mess with jinns and have jinns that work for them, because you can get jinns to work for you, right? I can explain how to in another video if you guys care, but these jinns can be sent to attack you. So spiritually, like people who do voodoo, which is a form of it, right? Hexes are real, spells are real. People can send all of these negative energies to come mess with you, just to mess with you. It just depends on what they're doing for the jinn, because remember, everything is a transaction. So the jinns always need something in return. If you're not providing them something that they want or desire, they're not going to do your bidding for you. Either way, I don't recommend getting a jinn. You don't want a jinn as a pet. Believe me, they control your life. Not for the better either. Not only that, but I mean, it's described in the Quran. So if you are Muslim, you have to believe in jinns. Like, they're described in the Quran for our own protection. So God was letting us know what's up. Like, yo, there are these demon-like creatures living in a parallel universe to yours. So just as a heads up, they will freak you out. Don't go searching for them. Pretty much, to sum it up.
Is when they put my body in the grave, my soul goes to either Illiyin or Sijjin. This is the life of Barzakh. This is the fourth life. If I'm a good soul, I go to Illiyin. If I'm a bad soul, I go to Sijjin. Both mentioned in Surah Mutaffifin of the Quran. And what happens is, a person, when they make this journey and they go there, the Prophet ﷺ has told us and he's given us good news about Illiyin. Allahu Akbar. May Allah make us of them. Say Ameen. And then what happens is, you lose your family on this earth and you gain another family in the other world. What do I mean? My friends, our Prophet ﷺ has told us how the news reaches the gates of Illiyin, of whoever is coming from this earth, and they there in Illiyin are always saying to the angels, who's coming, who's coming, who's coming? They come rushing forward. Is there any family members, they'll come rushing forward to the entrance of the gate. They want to receive their child, their grandchild. And when he enters, he now realizes, if he's a good soul only, if he's only a good soul, this happens. He now realizes that he's got a whole family out here. Not just the ones he's seen. He hasn't seen his great-great-great-grandfather. Even he looks at him and they catch up on news. So anyway, this is the fourth world. What happens in the fourth world? Well, guess what? You get comfortable again if you're in Illiyin. You get comfortable. You're with your family, the families that went before you. And now you're waiting for others to come from the world. You want your sister to come to Illiyin. You hope she gets to Illiyin. You pray she gets to Illiyin. That's why people on this earth sometimes have dreams. How do you have a dream? How do you meet a person who's already gone? Well, the people in Illiyin, they make a request to Allah. Oh Allah, I'd like to see so-and-so of my family member in the world in a dream. If only Allah wills, they get the wish granted. So what happens? What happens is, subhanAllah, think of this, this is amazing. This is amazing, and this happens every single night. What Allah has done is during the night, when you've gone to sleep tonight, and I go to sleep tonight, and last night, and the night before that, and every single night of my life, what Allah says in the Holy Quran in Surah Zumar, Surah number 39, I think it's ayah number 46. Allah says, Allahu yatawaffal anfusa hina mawtiha wallati lam tamut fi manamiha. Allah catches souls twice, 2 times. Once when you're dead, He catches you and He takes you, transfers you to the next world. This is what I've just been talking about. And the second one where He catches you and He releases you, and then He catches you and releases you and catches you and releases you and catches you, takes you up and takes you back down, takes you up, takes you back down. For many times, is every time I go to sleep and every time you go to sleep. The Quran says, وَالَّتِي لَمْ تَمُتْ فِي مَنَامِهَا. The soul that hasn't died yet, who is in a state of sleep and a state of dreaming. And what happens is, my soul goes up there, your soul goes up there. And sometimes you have a dream of someone on this earth. And how do you have it? Well, his soul or her soul got together with your soul. Sometimes it's your imagination, okay? Don't get me wrong. What happens is they go to a place, Alamul al-Ahlam. The world Allah has created, the world of dreams. Now every soul that has a true dream goes to that world. And whoever is in Illiyin, if their request has been accepted, they also come to Illiyin, and the two meet in that state. And this is so quick that it can happen like a blink of an eye. It can happen like a blink of an eye. That's how we see people who have passed away, and we meet them in our dreams. Allahu Akbar.
My grandfather, he was such a religious and dedicated Muslim. He was so kind-hearted, and he was so special in so many different ways. But I'll be telling you guys more about him, because I want to keep this channel well balanced. I don't want to talk too much about jinns and not any about like the good experiences. There are angels that, you know, protect certain individuals. If you are a high strong energy individual, the angels surround you. So when people are glowing, it's because they have a lot of light, a lot of aura, a lot of angels around them. They're good-hearted people, okay? And these angels do protect you against these jinns. My grandfather, he had just passed away. He had died in his sleep, which is the best way to go. It's the most peaceful way. It's the easiest way. And he had died in his sleep. He lived in Egypt. And back home in Egypt, the majority of my family members are still there all of the family members from my mom's side are still there. And the majority of my dad's. The only ones that are here in America with me, California specifically, are my aunts, my uncles, their kids, so my cousins, and who else? And at that time, it was my grandma and my grandpa, but all of my grandparents have already passed away, unfortunately. But either way, I was highly upset with my grandpa when he died. And it wasn't because of anything bad. I was just I was jealous. I was mad and I was jealous. I was wondering, like, okay. Let me backtrack. So I remember this as well as if it was yesterday. So when my mom was telling me what happened with my grandfather, she was telling me as we were driving to work and we were carpooling. So my grandfather, she was telling me that he had passed away. He had passed away last night. He died in his sleep. It was right after we spoke to him, because my mother, she calls home constantly, right? It was right after we spoke to him. And I remember thinking to myself, which was kind of selfish at the time, like, so? That was my legit reaction, like, so? Yeah, I was a piece of shit teenager, I know. But I said, so? It doesn't matter. He's not really my grandpa. I didn't spend any time with him. I barely seen him. I didn't really get to know him to that extent and caliber. Like, I just knew of him, you know? I think I've seen him, I visited Egypt before while he was alive, and I did get to spend somewhat time with him, but what I meant was, like, majority to my cousins over there, I didn't really have that strong of a connection with my grandpa. Like, I didn't get to spend time with him like they did, living with him in the same house, etc. So, of course, you're not going to have the same experience, but I was a little bit mad at that fact. Like, I remember growing up as a teenager, really annoyed with the fact that I was living here in America. Like, I felt like I got cheated somehow. Like, why? Why does it have to be us? Can you guys stop? Move! So I remember feeling like it was like I was being cheated for some reason. Like, why couldn't I have been born in Egypt? Why couldn't I have all these cool experiences and culture and all of this stuff? Mainly because, you know, growing in California and in the US specifically, there weren't many other Muslims and Egyptians in general. Not only that, but every single person always gave you the third degree. Like, what's your ethnicity? What do you believe in? And to feel like you are always the lone wolf against the pack of animals trying to figure out where you stand within everything is just really annoying. It's very tiring. So sometimes I felt like it would have been easier to just live in Egypt, grow up in Egypt. That way every single person around you usually has the same belief system. It was less explaining. You get what I mean. It was just easier. That's what I thought, okay? And then when I went to go visit Egypt, all of my cousins were jealous of me. They all wished they were the ones who were able to come to America. So again, just be happy with what you have. But back to the story. So I was highly upset at the fact that, you know, I didn't get any time to spend with my grandfather. So at that point, that same night, he came to me in my dream. And in my dream, he was in an all-white galabeya, which if you look at Muslims in Middle Eastern countries, it's the long baggy dress looking thing, so we call it a galabeya. So he was dressed in an all-white galabeya, and he had a golden hat on, okay? He came in my dream and he told me, Eman. And I was like, Grandpa? And he said, come on. And he just put his hand out to me, like, come. And I was like, where are we going? And he said, I'm here to spend time with you. We didn't get much time to spend with each other. Literally saying what I was saying earlier that day, word for word, verbatim. So when I woke up, I was freaking out. I was like, no, he heard what I said, you know? But, okay, back to the dream. So the way that Muslims know that there is a heaven and a hell is because when you're a Muslim and you die, you're rewarded something, right? Depending on how high of a level of belief and how strong your connection is with God, how good you were, etc. You know, the 7 layers of heaven. Yeah, it's a real thing. So my grandpa, again, he was highly religious. He was humble. He was very, very minimalist. He, like, for example, I had gotten into an altercation when I did go to Egypt to visit one time because Egyptians don't like Americans. So they labeled me as an American, which was unfortunate because when I was here in America, I was being labeled as an Egyptian. And so I never really quite fit in anywhere. I was always just by my lonesome defending myself. When I was in Egypt, I was the American. When I was here, I was the Egyptian. Whatever. So when I was there, 2 girls were messing with me on the street. It was me and my friend, and they were calling me names. They didn't know that I actually spoke Arabic. Arabic is actually my first language, but of course, from lack of using it, English is more of my stronger suit now. But they were calling me names. They were being disrespectful and rude. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reply to these bitches. Look here, so-and-so, yada, yada, yada. And I started going in, right? And at that point, we had gotten to an altercation, like fist fight. Like, I had tore this girl's hijab off in the street type of fight, right? Not a good look. So such not a good look. And I'm not proud of this at all. This is not me patting myself on the back. This is me just telling you guys my experiences, right? That same night, my grandpa made me go back over there after I was jumped by like 20 women. Like, I'm talking about Egyptian women cooking in the kitchen all day. You know, those heavy set, grind the freaking bread, the dough. Yeah, those women. So when I whooped their daughter's butt in the street, they then came out and attacked me and jumped me, right? So I went home. I was upset. And when I got home, every single auntie, every single cousin was like, what? They did to you what? Let's go over there and let's go whoop all of their butts. Let's go and take revenge. My grandpa was the only one who had any sense. He said, no, we're going to go over there and we're going to apologize. And I was like, what? What'd you say? We are going to apologize to them? They started it. They were talking shit to me first. I was just defending myself. You know? So either way, he literally dragged my little butt over there, and he was like, I am so sorry. I apologize. And guess what? They then apologized to us back. They were like, it's okay. I'm sorry too. And that's the difference between wanting to go get revenge and being humble, grateful, and forgive, which is what we're supposed to do. So that was a good lesson for me to learn that day. But anyways, that was my grandpa's character. Back to the dream. When he took me by the hand, he put his arm around me, and all of a sudden we teleported to a different scene. It was a castle made out of white marble and gold trimmings all over the place. I remember there was this big, huge corridor, and there was students gathering. And the students, at this point, I had lost my grandpa in the crowd, so there was also other like humans and individuals there. And there was students there. And when I entered and I was looking around, I had lost my grandpa. I was like, oh, where's my grandpa? I don't know. And then the students were just talking so highly about my grandpa, who was the teacher. So apparently I was sitting in a classroom-like environment, and my grandpa would give sermons, or he would preach, or he would be teaching something, right? So the students were so fond of him and his wisdom that they were just boasting about him. Oh yes, he's this, he's so great, he's, you know. And I was sitting there going like, I was then feeling jealous again in my video. So I was like, he's my grandpa, by the way. He's my grandpa. He's not your grandpa. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me at the time, but I mean, insecurity much? I don't know. Insecure, probably. So I was freaking the F out, pretty much, in the dream. And then I didn't really understand that it was a classroom until my grandpa re-entered the scene and walked up to the podium, and he just started giving a speech. And right as he started talking is when the dream faded out and I woke up. Now, if that doesn't do it for you guys, I don't know what will. So I woke up and I told my mom, yo, guess who visited me in my dream last night? And she was like, who? Your dad? She was like, oh, he came and visited me as well. So yeah, people who have passed, loved ones, they can definitely visit you in your dream.